Hello, second graders. Welcome to the second grade orientation video. I can't wait to get this year started with lots of fun and learning, and I finally get to meet you. The slideshow has a lot of information about our school and about our class specifically, so I'm going to skim through most of the slides to make it as brief as possible, and I'll also give you a file of the slides so that you can look at them on your own. You'll also be given a parent packet, which is going to have some of the information in paper for you. So a little bit about myself before I get started. I've been working with preschoolers through second graders for the last 30 years. This year will be my 14th year teaching second grade at Faith. I am a strong believer of hands-on learning to help reach all learning abilities. I also like to teach in creative outside-the-box ways. One of my favorite moments when teaching is seeing a child love to read and especially love to read God's Word. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started on the slideshow. Okay, here's a little information about my family. I've been married for 27 years, and we have 3 sons who all graduated from Faith. I have 2 dogs, and I have 5 hermit crabs and 1 betta fish in my classroom. Here is a list of my favorites. Here are my hobbies. Here are the class rules that we have posted in our classroom. And along with those rules, here is the classroom management system that the elementary all does together. It's called the How I Act system. You can read more about that. And then also I have a list of the consequences. You could also read more about that. Now, specifically to my class, each day as we end our school day, your child will receive a stamp in his or her planner if he or she did not receive any reminders for the day. If your child did receive a reminder, I will write the letter R, and that will let you know to check facts under behavior to know more about it. And I usually enter reminders around 4 p.m. We have 2 field trips that we go each year, and the fall field trip is Museum of the Shenandoah Valley, and I've already scheduled that, and that is for September 28th. And then our spring field trip is the Blandy Science Farm, and that will be sometime in April. Also, our community service organization is the Berkeley Senior Center, and right at this moment, I am waiting to hear back what our plan is for that, so just be on the lookout for that. Dress code, you can look at the student handbook, which is on our website. Here are the specials that you can look over. The supply list, which I'm sure you have already bought everything or you're working on that. The only thing I want to bring up is if you see the following supplies right here, FYI, the following supplies will be stored in boxes and students have access to these if needed. So all of these things you do not have to label because they are shared by the class. Another thing about supply list, I strongly encourage your child to have some sort of headphones or earbuds that are plug-in so they can use them for the computer centers and for the listening center. Before care starts at 7 and it runs till 7:50 in the gym. And also, every morning your child will complete a morning checklist that's going to be on their desk, and they will complete that before pledges at 8:05, which is when school starts. Now here's an example of the checklist that's going to be on their desk, and this will actually be laminated, and they'll get to use their wipe-off marker to check off each one as they complete them. So I will say it is important that your child comes to school before we begin school at 8:05, because this checklist, as you read it, you'll see some things that they need to have done before we start pledges. We don't want them to start off their day behind. Okay, for snacks, lunches, every morning we have fruit break. Just make sure they have 1 or 2 healthy snacks. I would say more 2 because as they're growing, they get hungrier. Also, I do not have access to a microwave, so any hot items, please put in a thermos or serve cold or room temperature food. Now, more specifically about facts, which actually was RENWEB. So it's a little change, so when you hear facts, that's what it's about. All lesson plans and homework will be posted each week by Sunday evening, and I highly recommend printing off the weekly calendar, which would be under my homework, so that you could see what all the assignments are or events that are going on in our class for the week. And it would be a great idea to print it and have it hung somewhere where your child could see it and you can see it well. Also, all graded work will be posted within 3 days of the assignment. And make sure that you log into your child's FACS account at the beginning of the year just to make sure that you understand how it works and if you have any questions. And lastly, about facts, this is my primary form of communication with learning, behavior, and important information. I'll be using email. Here is a change with our lunches this year. Chick-fil-A and pizza have flip-flopped, but you will purchase those online through FACS, and that starts the second week of school. Okay, here's a breakdown of all of the subjects and all of their graded assignments and how I grade them and the percentages, so you can look that over. We do a really cool math facts speed drill program called Kicking It, and I'm not going to go through reading all of this, but you can take time to read it over, and it's a system that helps your child learn math facts quicker, and that will help them in the long run as they learn multiplication and division. Here's what is part of the program. There's a chart that they'll have in their planner so you can look to see where they are, and then these flashcards on a ring, they'll have a set at school, and they'll also have a set for home so that they can practice whatever color they're working on. And then with handwriting, we're going to begin writing in all cursive once I finish reteaching the entire alphabet. So for those of you that have children that may have forgotten some of their cursive writing from the summer, or maybe you're new and your child hasn't even started cursive, we will be reviewing every letter before all cursive begins. So about sometime in the second quarter, we'll start all cursive, and I will let you know when that's coming up. Tests will always be in cursive, and I will always evaluate letters that I have already taught them in class. And then you'll have something in the parent packet also as practice. For spelling, the school provides our class with the premium membership of Vocabulary A through Z. This was formerly Spelling City, if you're familiar with that website. It's a wonderful tool to use at home. It will have all of my lists on it, and they get access to all the games because it is a premium membership. So I highly recommend using that as practice throughout the week. And we will start spelling the second week of school. And I will have your child's password taped to their planners so you'll know how to get in. Now with dismissal, we're going to do it the same way we did it last year, where we dismiss at 3 p.m. So every student will be packed up at their desk, sitting quietly, and they are allowed to read a book while they're waiting. And the office will call the numbers on the intercom, and that will continue until 3:30. Then the remaining students will go to aftercare. I will say, if you have siblings in middle school and high school, please wait until at least 3:20 to pick them up, because they get dismissed later anyway, and that will help with the actual car line. Our school theme this year is about having joy and thankfulness, and that's taken from 1 Thessalonians 5. So each week I'm going to choose a child who's displaying whatever specific character trait we're working on for that month, and they'll get a certificate at chapel. Now for our classroom, I break my classroom themes into 3, and we have, first we start out with patriotic, then we have around the world, and then we end with the rainforest. Okay, the next few slides are just kind of odds and ends things that you might not have thought of or questions that you might have had. Hopefully these will answer them. I'm not going to go through all of these bullet points because I do have several pages. One thing on this slide, the classroom does get pretty chilly in the winter and in the warmer months. So just have your child bring a sweatshirt, maybe just they can keep it in their backpack and pull it out whenever they need it. Okay, if your child has a paper to fix or finish up, it will get sent home and I'll have a little stamp to let you know to return that the next day. If your child was absent and there's a graded paper or test that they did not get to, they will do that at the beginning of recess with me. And I have a special go home folder that papers from just our second grade class go into, and you will receive that folder every day. And then there's going to be a mailbag that goes home every Tuesday and Friday, and those will be papers that come from the office that pertain to the school. You are allowed to bring in a birthday treat for your child. Also, I'm looking for 5 parent volunteers who are willing to assist me during my switches from 2 to 3, so it's the end of the day. And there is a form in the parent packet where you can fill that out and let me know as soon as possible. It will start the second week of school. Okay, for orientation night on Thursday. So 2nd through 5th grade's time slot is 7 to 8 p.m. And this is a great time just to meet me, to drop off your child's supplies, to receive that parent packet, and ask any other questions that you may have. Also, from 6 to 7 is the lower elementary time slot. So if you don't have another sibling during that time, if you want to come in during that time, I will still be available. Also, that's a good time to purchase your child's planner. It's $5. And I strongly recommend for your child to bring in their supplies if they're coming with you to orientation night. You can help them put it in the designated areas. Just because the first day of school is pretty stressful as it is, and having to lug all that stuff and organize it, it can be a burden to students. So you can do that ahead of time. Well, my goals. My goals for this class are first and foremost that each child grows closer to the Lord as we read, memorize, and study Scripture. Also that they develop a love for reading independently, they master their addition and subtraction math facts, and that they learn to become more confident, more independent, and effective problem solvers. So I just want to end this orientation video with a huge thank you. The Lord has blessed me with the opportunity to teach your child this year, and I really look forward to getting to know and love your child like my very own. I can't wait to see your child work to succeed at their full potential, and I'm just really eager and excited to start this year. If you need to contact me, here are some ways to do that. All right, well, I hope to see you Thursday night.